Welcome back. Every other Friday here in Arc, Maine, we are in the lab experimenting, and that's what we're doing right now.
We are mad scientists. Our good friends from Mad Science of Maine will be here teaching us all about science. Today, we're all about candy and the science behind it. Joining us this morning, some candy experiment experts are Molly and Max.
You got
Thanks
that
for coming
right.
on.
Thank you for having us again.
And for safety,
Goggles on.
goggles and lab
Yeah,
coats.
ready
All
to
right.
go.
Candy goggle time.
All right, first of all, what we got going first? We got this is kind of fun. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so Pop Rocks. So what do you know about Pop Rocks?
They pop in your mouth, and
Yep.
I don't know, they taste kind of good and they're kind of weird.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you know why they pop in your mouth?
No, because of the moisture in it?
Part.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so.
You could use, you want to
Yep.
hold that?
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
That'll make it easier.
Yep.
All right, so pour that in the flask. All right, what flavor? First of all, this is important.
This,
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Blue
this one
Rose, maybe?
is Tropical Punch.
All right.
And the other flavor is watermelon.
All right.
If we have time, we can do that one.
All right, so tell us exactly what we're doing. So we're pouring those in the
So-
water into the flask. Okay.
And as Max swirls it, maybe even if you hold it closer to your mic, we'll hear it more.
If you listen very closely,
Okay.
you can hear it crackling, popping.
And as you swirl it faster, the pitch will kind of go up a little bit too.
Okay.
Faster and faster.
All right, here, point it a
Good,
little
Jeff.
more towards your microphone right there. There you go.
That's what the goggles are for.
So what's happening is the liquid is causing the gas to be released, and the gas is carbon dioxide. And if you look on the back of the package, it says processed with carbon dioxide. So Pop Rocks is sugar. and-
Surrounding a bunch of gas bubbles of
Yeah.
carbon dioxide. So basically, like, you know when you open a brand new bottle of soda and it makes that shh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the same
releasing
thing?
all of that compressed gas.
Yeah.
Same thing. When the candy dissolves, all of the carbon dioxide escapes, and we get the crackling on our tongue, or even more crackling if you just pour them straight into a pitcher of water. So kids could even try this at home. You just need water and Pop Rocks.
Yeah, listen how loud that is, too. Yeah, look at that.
Very
Yeah.
pleasing.
It is
you-
pretty
have
loud.
you ever had
I hear
Pop
it.
Rocks?
Oh, yeah, I love
Right.
Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
It sounds like what it sounds like in your mouth.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very pleasing.
All right, so you have an experiment here for Asia to
Yes.
do now. What,
Yes.
So we're
Yes,
getting
we
ready
have
to
some
Easter.
peeps.
Easter's like
Okay.
April 20th, I think, something
Yeah,
like that?
coming up.
Okay.
We noticed a lot of peeps in the store, so
Okay.
we call
Peep
this
peeps.
experiment Peeps in Space.
It gets me every time.
So as you know, in space, it's a vacuum. There's no atmosphere. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you pick one of your bunnies,
Okay.
and you're gonna put it in the cup like so that it's
Upside
you can put
down?
it on the stand, exactly upside down,
Okay.
kind of standing up. Max and I are gonna shove two of these chicks. There we go.
Okay.
And then. Yeah, exactly. You'll cover it up,
Okay.
and if Jeffrey wants to hold down the cup for you,
Okay, there you go.
well,
Yep. Here, I'll hold
and
this
Max
down.
will do the same. And we're gonna start pumping the syringe as much as you can, and just keep your eye on the inside of the cup.
Watch the peeps.
Oh, look at it. It's growing.
In
Yeah.
space.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Look at them go.
It's like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's exactly what I
right?
said.
And
Yes,
Ghostbusters
That is
getting big.
exactly what I said. It's haunting. So in space, there's no air pressure, and without that air pressure, which is around us all the time, keeping us our size, everything can expand. So we've got this expanding peep as we give it more and more
Oh my
of a
gosh.
vacuum space.
Is it going to explode?
And the other second fun part is next step is if we suddenly give it its air pressure back. So if we stop pumping,
Okay.
and then if either Asia or Jeffrey,
Okay.
and we can take our hands off now because
Okay.
the thing is you don't need to hold it together.
Yeah.
The vacuum seals
Okay.
it. So now all we do is pull this little tube out of the cup and watch what happens to your peeps.
Is it this
Ready?
way? All right.
Set, go.
Go.
Oh,
Look at that. Oh my God, it's like instant.
Instant.
Yeah. There we
go.
Compressed peeps.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
so why? Can you explain really quick why that happened again?
Exactly. So when we have it in the cup and we start pulling all
Yeah.
the air out, no air pressure, nothing to keep them shrunken down to their normal size. So they start to expand to fill the space. It's a vacuum. And the second we take the tubing out, all the air pressure comes back in, and it's so sudden that the air pressure kind of like squishes our peeps.
I like the
Is it
sound
because
effect too,
of
by
the
the way.
consistency of like the marshmallow?
The marshmallow
Yeah.
is really good for that, but you can do other things. Like you can sort of blow up a balloon really, really tiny, tie a knot in it, and put it in there, and you'll watch the balloon puff up itself inside. Most things, I mean, a Lego won't expand in there,
Right.
but other
Yeah.
things will.
Well, it's interesting how it took a while to get big, but then
Yes.
it
Yeah.
like you just like literally pulled that off and it was back to the normal.
Exactly, squashed by air pressure.
And look
there's
how
a lot of air
wrinkly it
pressure on
is.
us all the time, but
Right.
we fight it back with
Yeah.
our own internal pressure.
All right, these are history. We don't need these anymore.
No.
All right.
That's what you do with
But I
peeps.
like the blue. the one.
All right. So what's next? So I see this contraption. This looks like a
Yes.
candy
All right,
cane
here.
maker or
Cotton candy.
cotton candy maker.
All right.
All right.
Yes.
Do we want to
So-
scooch this little
Yeah, do we
friend
need to
over?
scoot it a little bit over to see?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Move this
Gotcha.
over.
And good
All right,
enough.
sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
So we brought, you're stuck with the flavor I brought, grape. And
Good. I'm a grape fan. I love grape.
beautiful.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
So right now this is just grape sugar. I'm gonna turn the machine on. It's gonna get a little bit loud. But sugar, if you were able to look at it close up, it's a solid.
Let's move it a little further over.
Aw, thanks, Jeffrey.
Right.
Some of
we
us
go.
are just
Perfect.
too short.
You're the pro. All right, now me and Max
Yeah.
will both get on the stool.
Yay! I can be tall too.
So we pour the solid sugar, which is in crystal form, into the center, where it's going to heat up and melt into a liquid. And that is how it's going to be able to reshape itself. You can't really turn the crystals into the little threads of cotton candy. I'll give you one too, Max.
Oh,
and we'll
boy.
pass these down as we make them. So as the sugar melts, it then eventually will be whipping out of these tiny holes on the sides in tiny threads. The second they hit the air, it goes back into being a solid because it cools enough. And then we get that new texture of sugar that you can't, no matter how much you smush sugar crystals down, they'll never turn into the threads.
Why does it stick to the paper eventually?
So it's because they're those thin threads, they really stick, like I think it's a little bit of static, but they'll really stick to each other really well. So the second you start collecting it on the cone, and it should start coming up pretty soon, the second you start collecting it in the cone, it just keeps coming and coming and coming. So, and the force you're seeing, the spinning is called centrifugal force, which is sometimes disputed as not a real force, but the idea that everything spinning in a circle moves out to the edges, which then forces it out of the little holes, and then eventually onto my cone. Now, it should be coming up really soon.
That's all right. We still got a minute, so we're good. We're good. All right.
Excellent.
So, have you ever been to the fairgrounds?
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
You've-
yeah.
So I'm sure you've seen something
Yeah.
very similar to this. Well, same idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have a favorite cotton candy flavor?
Ooh, I like maple.
Ooh,
I got
so
like
never
maple,
had
maple
maple.
sundae.
So
They have
here
that.
we go.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's starting to go.
Maple is awesome. We have one of our math science instructors actually makes her own cotton candy sugar, so she makes a sour apple. That's amazing.
Looks like spider webs.
Yeah.
It looks like spider webs. It comes out in these teeny tiny strands. Just to make sure everybody gets to try some, I'll make you bigger ones later. I'm gonna start passing out our little mini cones.
All right, there you
to
go.
taste. There you
There
go.
you go.
Thank
That's
you.
great right there.
Oh,
Great.
okay.
So you're not even like touching anything.
Don't have to touch
Wow.
a thing.
The air's pushing it up, right?
The air's pushing it up like a tornado of sugar on it.
Look at that.
Very nice.
Whips, and as you just turn the cone, you can collect it, make it look kind of nice.
Yep.
There we go. Max is about to have one.
Oh, look at
Oh,
that.
Go, Max.
fancy.
Actually, yeah. I'm gonna make you make one. Sorry. There we go. And then one more for me.
How come Max got such a big one?
I know.
I'm gonna trade with you.
That's fair.
It's Employee Appreciation Day, so I gotta show Max some love. Thank you. And that is pretty good. Here, Asia, I'll give you
Asia
a
gets
better.
the
Thank
biggest
you.
one.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, we'll do a trade. Here
You
you go.
get this little
Much
puny
better.
thing.
That's
All right.
my serving size. I like it.
Oh, look at that. That's awesome. Here, cheers.
Cheers.
Sticky good.
Wow.
Even sugar is science.
Oh, actually, that tastes really good for grape.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow, that's really good.
That's pretty good.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
so one last thing, the science behind this.
So the science behind this, you're changing the form of matter from solid, sugar's crystal solid, melting it to a liquid, and then letting it cool back into a solid. But because of the centrifugal force, it's coming out in these teeny tiny threads really fast, shooting out and cooling so that it's stuck in this texture instead of in the crystalline texture. Then, of course, if you were to put it in a cup of water, it would just all dissolve, go back to sugar again.
And then for Asia and moi, this is a great treat.
It sure
Ends
is.
up on our stomachs.
Yes, that's for sure.
All right, so anybody interested in some more of these science experiments, maybe going to a camp or having you guys over for a party they can go to?
Exactly, and we
Absolutely.
can even bring the cotton candy machine to the party.
Yes.
Yep.
What's the website?
Oh, it's Maine, of course. Maine.madscience.org.
All right, sounds good. We'll be right back with much more on our Maine.
So much.
Should we make one for Katie, maybe?
Well,
Yes,
I want
one
one.
for everybody.
Yeah.